Folks, this is the Chad Factor. It has been a long time since I've seen any of you today. This is a video response to a Quasi on the coronavirus shutdown and giving up liberty for safety. And I'm here to show you a graph that proves that this whole coronavirus lockdown was useless. Give me just a second, folks. Let me go to Twitter right quick. Let me find a post I had. If I can't find it, I'll probably go on my phone. Hold on for a second, folks. Just bear with me. All right, I know where to find it, so just give me a minute. Let me look up Jeffrey Tucker. Let me look up his Twitter so I can show you what I need to show you. He has a lot of things posted on his Twitter, so just bear with me. Let me see when he posted this tweet. Okay, it was Friday. So here we go. So these are the daily new deaths for Sweden. So as you can see, it was at its peak April 3rd through the 21st. And it went down as the months came by all the way to August 1st. So their deaths are all the way down. So what is the point of me showing you that? That the lockdown for the COVID-19 was a useless disaster. It was useless because Sweden never locked down, and their deaths kept going down throughout the months without a single lockdown, without shutting down businesses or the entire economy. So when Quasi's talking about, giving up liberty for safety, what's more safety do you have right now than when they did not have this lockdown? Now you got businesses that have been shut down. Now you got a height of suicides. Now you got a height of drug overdoses. Now you got people suffering left and right, don't know how they're going to pay their bills or anything in the future. Millions of people could want. I believe Trump signed an executive order on continuing the memorandum for the housing crisis, but it still doesn't mend the effects of this shutdown that happened in America. So when we're talking about this, the fear, the anxiety, when we talk about all of these things, it's just for the fact of the matter is we had Ebola, which had a higher death rate. We've had swine flu, which had a higher death rate. We had many other diseases in the history of this country and the world that have higher death rates, and people were still working, going outside, and doing their own thing. I am not saying we can't practice, safety precautions, not being around too many people, washing your hands. But when you force it, therein lies the issue. And I'll give you another example. Let me show you this. So a situation happened in L.A. Bear with me, folks. This internet is kind of slow tonight. Mayor Garcia says LA will shut off power. Hold on, let me get a local news source for all of you. Just so you know that the Chad is not biased. LA Mayor Garcia authorizing power and water shutoffs at homes and businesses hosting large parties. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti on Wednesday announced that he's authorizing the city to shut off LA Department of Water and Power Services at homes and businesses and other venues hosting large gatherings during the pandemic. Starting on Friday night, if the LAPD responds and verifies that a large gathering is occurring at a property, we'll see the properties offending time and time again. They will provide notice and initiate the process to request the DWP to shut off service within 48 hours. The mayor said that his enforcement is not focused on small gatherings in people's homes, but on the people determined to break the rules, posing significant public dangers and a threat to all of us. So, people are cheerleading stuff like that, of people having large gatherings at the house, right? And people are trying to say that if you have large gatherings, you are causing hundreds and thousands of people to die. Okay? So my question is, why are the so-called experts who said that you should social distance 2 weeks to slow the spread, are now advocating protest after protest after protest? They didn't say anything about the rioting in Dallas, Austin, Atlanta, LA, all over the country after Minneapolis, after George Floyd passed away. Why aren't they saying a word about that? Because it's political bias. Because they don't care. They just want everything shut down and the economy is shut down, and it's politically motivated because they want to make the Republicans look bad. Because look, 30,000 people died in Cuomo City, and he let sick people in the nursing homes. And 43% of those people that died, of the 30,000, died in nursing homes, and Cuomo let that happen. But the mainstream fake news media, and I am not a supporter of Trump. I am voting Joe Jorgensen this election. I did vote for him in 2016, but I will not be voting for him because there's a lot of stuff he's done not to my liking that you're not talking about. Why aren't you talking about Cuomo? Why aren't they calling him out? Why are all these southern states that said have the least amount of deaths, for the most part, are now having suddenly rising cases in their states? Because they want to promote fear. They want to make you scared and say that people are going to die if you congregate or have a rally for a different subject. But if you want to protest or riot, it seems like it's okay with everybody. And I'll give you a prime example of this. I was going to a Young Americans for Liberty event in Dallas, Texas. I live in Georgia, so that would have been about a 10-hour drive. And they canned it because they claimed that they didn't want to spread the COVID-19 pandemic. That's what they claimed. But my thing is that they were going through every precaution. They were going to socially distance. They were going to, have it out in the back. They were going to have more people out in the back. They were going to have minimal capacity for the hotel. They were going through every regulation and everything the city wanted to do for this event, but they still canned it not 7, 6, 5, 4, but 3 days before the event happened when everybody was already there. That is terrible protocol, if you ask me. That is terrible protocol, if you ask me. So you cancel my event, but you let people riot and protest in Dallas. Black Lives Matter, police defund the police movements, but people that want to have liberty and talk about more right leaning issues, it's gonna get canned 3 days before it starts. So the political bias is real. And people need to practice more civil disobedience in the face of this. There's 2 people who own a gym in New Jersey that are fighting against that. They broke into their own gym after they were arrested because they said they were going to continue to work in their gym. While simultaneously around the country, it's a crime to do your own business when they said not to. But you can let out criminals and rapists and murderers and robbers and people, even if they have nonviolent drug offenses, you're letting all these criminals out, but you won't let people start their own business and finance or pay their own bills by starting a business. Same thing happened to a girl named Shelly in Texas. She was going to be a speaker at the event that got canceled where I was at too. Wanted to see that. But let me show you another story of what I'm talking about. And this is one case, but this happens. I've heard a lot of people talk about this happening around the country, right? So here's another one. Here's a case that I just heard about. And I'm trying to find this story for you. I want to make sure I get the story right. So let me look up this story right now. Just give me a second, folks. I posted this on my Facebook. Sorry I'm doing all this. Usually I'm always ready, but okay, so let me give you this story. Give me just a minute. Okay. This is 3 days ago. They posted this, and this person was released from jail because they said that he would have contracted coronavirus, and says the incident in Kalen, I can't pronounce his name, but DeMontez's apartment last October was violent. It was not consensual. She testified in an Alexandria District Court in December. The man she accused was indicted on charges including rape, strangulation, and abduction, and jailed without bond in Alexandria. Then the coronavirus pandemic hit. IBE Bush's lawyer, this is the name, I still can't pronounce it, this guy's name. The girl is the DeMontez. This guy is Ibaya. lawyers argued that the virus was a danger to both inmates and their attorneys, and that Botro should be free awaiting trial. On October 9th, over objections of the Alexandria prosecutor, Central Court Judge Nola Dworkins released Bronco on a $25,000 bond with condition that he only leave his Maryland home to meet with his lawyers and pretrial service officials. On July 29th, Alexandria police say Bontia, 33, returned to Alexandria and shot and killed DeMonzes outside her apartment at the city's West End. When police couldn't find him, Slang issued a video news release asking for the public's help in locating him, declaring him armed and dangerous. Then on Wednesday morning, federal marshals and Alexandria police spotted Bosiga in Prince George's County, pursued him, causing Bolta to crash, and authorities said when police went to arrest Bolta, they found he apparently shot himself. So this is what's happening. And I urge everybody to ask yourselves, right? When they were releasing prisoners around the country because of the coronavirus pandemic, I'm going to keep saying pandemic, okay? Because they didn't release a lot of prisoners during Ebola. They released some, but not to this capacity with the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you think none of those people who got released were in those riots? Do you think none of them were in those riots? I think a lot of them were in those riots, at least 50% of them. Just saying. Because they did this, George Floyd happened, there's ads in the paper saying we're hiring for protesting, and all this chaos happened. You ask yourself that question. So I just want people to stop falling for the bull jive. Read and learn and see what you can find out. Okay? If this was such a deadly pandemic, like my man Okwesi always says, more people would be dead at this point. They say socially distanced, they say it can survive on surfaces, but no one's telling you to wear gloves. They say masks work, masks don't work, but if you look at some of these labels, they say masks don't work and don't prevent you from getting a disease. Same thing with vaccines. Vaccines do not cure the disease. They tend to treat certain diseases, but some of them make the disease even worse. So I'm just trying to see if I'm the only one asking questions and not believing the mainstream narrative of what the mainstream media is trying to tell all of us. And I also want to respond to this video by Okwesi about, the double standards, the fear games, the stuff going on, and just another thing about my personal story with it. Because I'm a full-time Lyft driver, right? I have no mask on in my car because it's my car. Now, Lyft says, you should wear a mask, and, but it's like, how can you enforce it when it's our cars? I'm driving for your company, but we're independent contractors, so it's my choice. So this woman asks me, where's your mask? I tell her I don't have one. And I left it at home because I'm rushing to pick you up. And she then gave me one of her masks because I honestly wanted to say it's none of your business because I can choose to wear a mask in my car, but I didn't want to appear. But that's the kind of fear that's happening where people feel the need to tell you have to wear a mask or you need to wear a mask because you are slowing the spread, even though it doesn't really do anything, really. Truth be told, if you ever wear a mask or have to at work, it's hard to breathe through it. So some people have to put it under their nose so they can breathe. Because it's hard to breathe in there when you're in the hot sun, man. So, but I'm just saying that The fear porn is real. And I tell the people, don't fall for the mainstream narrative. Do what you want to do. You know, wash your hands, be safe, because, you know, and everything like that. But taking away people's rights and trying to make this virus like it's the bubonic plague is two things I cannot deal with. And we saw this with the 9/11. We saw this over the years of different crises, and the more crises happen, the more rights are taken away from you. And that's what keeps happening every time crises happen, and not just in America, but around the world. You know, democide, like I said in my other video months ago, the killing of people by their government in the millions, and it's over the guise of keeping their citizens safe. So I just want people to realize that the response to the COVID-19 pandemic is worse than the actual pandemic, or pandemic as you would call it, because people have lost their jobs, suicide rates are going high, millions of people are either about to be homeless or are homeless. You know, there's a possibility hundreds of thousands of children might die if the economy crashes again, so of starvation. That's what the UN said. Crime has gone up in certain areas. So I'm just saying that the economy is important too, folks. And people don't realize that. So my response is, we should handle COVID-19, but we should not take away rights and liberties to do that. And people need to be stronger and stop listening to the fake, lamestream news media. Thank you. This is my video response to Quasi and another video from the Chad Factor. All of you have a wonderful day.